live with Liliana. Hope you guys have had a great week. It's Friday again. It's hard to believe these weeks are just rolling by. And Christmas is going to be next week. So today I've got a really nice treat. We're going to make some fabulous low carbohydrate margaritas. I've invited a special connoisseur guest to demonstrate these margaritas for us tonight. So we're all in for a real treat tonight. I'm going to be doing a seafood salad. I call it a ceviche salad, but it's not your traditional ceviche salad because it's not raw. Myself, I'm a little leery of raw, even though the lemon juice can marinate it nicely, but just the bacteria, parasites, so I like to cook it a little bit. So I really can't call it a traditional ceviche, so we're going to call it a seafood salad, which will have scallops and shrimp on it. So I'm really excited because this is a wonderful appetizer. It's a wonderful dish to take for any festive party because you can make it in advance. You can have it cold, which is really nice. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to start out making part of the low carbohydrate syrup that we're going to be using for the tequilas. Now this is really exciting because almost always my patients are asking me, do they really have to give up alcohol when they are trying to lose weight or they have blood sugar issues, or if in fact they have immunity issues like cancer. And so of course I tell them, like anything, it's an alcohol, it's going to go straight into the bloodstream. So if they have blood sugar issues or cancer, we want to be very, very careful. But at the same time, there's always going to be special times and events that honestly, resisting is not going to be very smart for the emotions. So I say just enjoy, bless it, drink it, have a good time, but be very moderate. So what I've done is designed a really low carb drink for you. So during the holidays, whether you have any issues in terms of your health, you can enjoy this. And one thing that's nice about tequila, you don't need a whole lot in order to make you feel relaxed, and it's one of those drinks that gives you a little energy. So again, more is not better here. So a beautiful drink will really kind of just top that evening off when it's a special celebration for the holidays. So this is a really cool sweetener. This is called erythritol, which is an alcohol sugar. And so, most alcohol sugars have a really bitter taste. Even stevia, I've tried to use it, and it's got this bitterness that it's really distinguishable. And so I found this and I thought, I'm just going to play around with it and use this, and it really came out really nice. And as I said, my tequila specialist, she really liked it as well. So I was really excited. Not only is it low calorie, but it's going to have a great flavor. So we're not going to give up anything at all. So we're going to start out with just about half a cup of this alcohol sugar. Now the thing about alcohol sugar, again, don't let it fool you because there's still some carbohydrates to it. When they say alcohol sugar that it doesn't absorb as a regular sugar, that's correct. In the liver, basically, it's not processed the same way as a table sugar, so you're going to get half of the amount of calories. So this says 5 carbohydrates per tablespoon, and so we're going to look at basically 2.5 carbohydrates per tablespoon, so that's going to be half, and it's not going to enter the bloodstream as a regular sugar, so that's really nice. So we're going to start off with about a half cup of water. And of course, you've got to have purified distilled water. And this is going to be, and what's nice about this is that you don't need to refrigerate it. It can stay out. So this can be a nice little sweetener that you can add to your holiday drinks, and or if you want to use it for a little tea as well. But really, I say save this for special occasions. So we're going to put a half a cup of the erythritol in there. And then I'm going to, now normally we always use agave Blue Weber syrup for the tequilas, but again, 1 tablespoon of this is 17 carbohydrates. That's a lot. So when we're looking at a tablespoon of the alcohol sugar being 2.5 to a tablespoon of this being 17, there's a huge discrepancy in terms of the blood sugar issues that you can experience. I mean, one thing that's beautiful about tequila is that you don't wake up with a hangover. It's always the mixers with a lot of corn syrup, especially the ones that you can get when you're out and about. They're not going to be very good quality. So when you make your own with agave and or now with a very low carbohydrate syrup, it's going to be fantastic. But again, we really avoid the hangovers when we're really keeping the sugar levels down. So I'm going to put about 4 tablespoons of this in here. Now remember, I put a half a cup of the alcohol sugar, just about 4 tablespoons of this. And what I liked about this is that it just gives it a nice little syrupy, thick enough, like the agave would. But again, it's gonna mix really, really nice. So, and it doesn't really take at all long to do. You can kind of just see it melt really beautifully here. I tried using monk fruit, and monk fruit, it left a lot of crystallization. It was actually really good. It was kind of rich. It was kind of very caramely in color. But I didn't like the darkness, and I didn't like the crystallization that it left afterward. So this is awesome. So again, you can just see here that it's just a creamy color. So it's not going to discolor any kind of drink that you might be making. So I'm just going to let that sit here. And when we get Sophia on here, it'll be nice and cool for her to use. So when I make the seafood salad, it's kind of my version of a ceviche. Again, most people use it raw, cook this raw, or you make it raw. I just put a little bit of lemon juice in this water. Of course, it's purified water. Now, I've already cooked some in advance so that we don't spend time peeling the shrimp. But I'm going to start out with some scallops. Now, again, I use only freshwater scallops and shrimp. You know, oftentimes, like today, I went to actually 3 different stores to find the shrimp because they were all farm raised. I try to avoid them as much as possible. But again, if you are going to buy a farm raised shrimp or a fish, which I don't highly recommend, but if that's all that's available, then you want to get one that is certified, that is sustainable farming. And so that way, you know, at least we're not contributing so much to the pollution that they empty out into the rivers and ocean, and also the pesticides and the antibiotics that they use as well. So I started out with the scallops because they cook really, really quickly. So as you can see here, I've got, it's not in a rolling boil because I just want to just cook it enough, almost like it would be a seared, it's slightly raw. Again, that's where we kind of get that little, you know, ceviche feel for it, but it's going to still be cooked. So I'm going to let that go for a moment. Now, I've got a lot of little things to put in here as far as the seafood salad. You always want to let this cool down. So I've already got some shrimp and some scallops already chopped up. And you can see here, they're chopped up in little teeny pieces here, bite-sized pieces. You really don't want to have them any bigger than this as the shrimp and or the scallops, you know, any bigger than this as well. Because again, we're going to, you know, instead of using chips, which is the traditional type of a thing to use with some sort of a ceviche, we're going to use romaine lettuce leaf. So again, you can use it just by picking it up, or today we're going to make it like a little salad. So I'm going to put that over there. So I hope everybody's been getting their shopping done. I finished my shopping today. I'm so excited because, you know, to fight the crowds is no fun. And today, actually, I went, yeah, I had to stand in line for a little while, but I was very specific about what I wanted. So I made it really, really easy, which was great. All right. So you can see this is maybe what, 2 minutes that we have this in here. I'm just looking for the opaqueness of this, just so that it's just slightly opaque. I don't know if you can see that there, but it's just really just beautifully opaque there. I'm going to go ahead and take those out. Okay, let's see. I need a little bowl. I'm going to use the same water to do the shrimp. I usually do the scallops first because the shrimp, you know, even though I washed them, they could have a little sand in it, so I don't really want any sand to stick to my scallops. Okay, so we've got those out. I like to leave the shrimp scales on. What is this? The skin onto the shrimp, just because it gives it a little bit more flavor. So the shell, keep the shell onto the shrimp. It's going to make it a little bit more flavorful. So I'm going to put those in. So I'm using a pound of shrimp and a pound of scallops. So again, we're just going to let that cook for just a really, all I'm going to do is I'm going to just cook it till it gets pink, just so that it's cooked enough so that we kill the bacteria, potential parasites that might be in there, but still give it that kind of ceviche is kind of a feeling. Okay. How are we doing with this little cooling of this arapaho here? Nice, it cools down really fast, which is really great. So I am going to go ahead and put this in a jar. And again, I just use a little mason jar so you can keep this outside. You do not need to put this in the refrigerator. It stays really good. So this is really enough for a big party. We're just going to use very little of it today. But you know, our family's been in the business for about 80 years. We are tequila growers, tequila producers. My sister is the specialist, so I'm going to be bringing her on in just a few minutes. And it's a real treat when you watch her as a mixologist put her drinks together. She's very imaginative. So when we were talking about low carb drinks, you know, she came up with some really fun ideas in a healthy way in regards to adding things like coconut milk to make like a simulation of a pina colada and an old fashioned. So it's going to be really fun. You're really going to enjoy it. So I'm going to set that there for her. All right, let's have a look at these shrimp. So you can see they're just now getting a little pink, and honestly, I just, like I said, I kind of want them just not raw, but just cooked enough so that when I put the lemon on it, it's going to marinate it as well. So I am going to go ahead and turn that off. So I'm going to go ahead and put this over here for a second, leave that there. We've got the scallops and we have the shrimp. So this is beautiful cilantro, and again, it's a chelating agent. So anytime you're looking at any shellfish, we're always looking at the mercury. Now these are really bottom feeders. So again, I tell my patients, you have this once in a while as a treat. Patients think, oh my God, how about the cholesterol in it? Well, it has cholesterol, but actually it doesn't have saturated cholesterol, so it's not really going to affect you in a negative way. So I love cilantro because, again, full of chlorophyll, a good chelating agent for any mercury that might be in there. So about a half a cup. I'm going to put some spring onions, and as you see, we chopped it really nice and small. So again, everything is really delicate. I like things when you're, especially if you're doing it as an appetizer or salad, that you don't have these big chunky pieces to deal with. I'm going to put about, I'd say about a cup of some fresh tomatoes. Now I let these tomatoes drain for a little while so that it's not watery. I don't like my seafood salad to be watery. Now I've got two types of chilies here. One is jalapeno. Now normally a jalapeno pepper would be, you know, to my opinion, pretty hot, you know, tasty, chili enough, but this one was pretty dull, so I was really glad that I got a Serrano chili as well. So I'm going to go ahead and dump the whole thing in. That was one whole chili there. And I'm going to take this little bit of Serrano. I'm not going to put too much in here, and we're going to correct the chili flavor as we go. And of course, this is the little Serrano, and this is the jalapeno. And as I said, taste it before you put it in, and I tasted it, and it was not hot at all. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a swirl. Look how beautiful and colorful that is. I just love it. Okay, excellent. Now, an avocado is super easy to open. Everybody knows how to open up an avocado. Now, they say you can ripen an avocado in 4 hours by putting it in foil and in the oven at a very, very low heat. But I'm old-fashioned. I want to, you know, I want them to be as natural as possible with as much nutrients as possible. Of course, you know, not all these aren't going to be in season all the time, so it is nice that they do ripen even if they are not in season out on your counter. So you don't need to put them in aluminum foil. But if you're in a hurry, like I thought today when I went grocery shopping yesterday, and I couldn't find any fresh avocados that were ripe. I thought, oh no, I'm going to have to try it. I'm going to have to try the inner paper bag thing. So again, I just cut it into little chunks with a knife. I'm going to go ahead and put it in there. So again, I like to put in about a whole avocado. Just depends. So I've already got some over here cut. You can kind of play with it. Everybody loves avocado. And since I'm serving this kind of as a main dish, a lot of times I would make the ceviche and put a little guacamole on the salad. on the side. So we're just going to have it all mixed in nicely. So I'm just going to put that in there. I'm going to just dump the whole thing. Why not? Oh. So that we got that going there. It's beautiful. Then I'm going to take the lemon juice. Now this is lime. This is about, I'd say, 6 limes. So again, you're going to put as much into your taste. I like a more tart flavor, so I kind of put in quite a bit. Now, before you do any of this, you've got to let your shrimp and your scallops cool down. Do not do this warm. So that's why I prepared it in advance so that we could have it all cool and ready to go so that you could watch the preparation, how easy it is. Got some good Celtic salt here, and of course the good sodium salt, which is awesome. Natural sodium. People say, well, can't I just use sea salt? And I say, well, it doesn't have any minerals in it. going to tax your adrenal glands and, you know, not balance your sodium potassium pump. So this works really nice. So you really want to let this sit and marinate probably for a minimum of 20 minutes or longer. So oftentimes I'll just put it in the refrigerator just to give it a nice little chill. But I'm going to go ahead and let that sit for a moment. Let me have a little taste of it all, a little bit of everything. Wow, I think I hit it perfectly with the chili, so we're going to set that aside. Okay. My mom taught me never to talk with a full mouth, so I'm going to present my sister in just a second. As I said, our family's been in this business for 80 years. We were growers, and now we have been distillers for over 20 years. And she's got a wonderful label, and it's called Partida, which is our last name. And we're really proud of our tequila. It's 100% organic, and the thing about tequila that you have to be really careful for is that you have to get a pure tequila. Oftentimes, there's what's called a misto, which can be up to 45% corn sugar. So that's not going to be very good. Oftentimes, they add glycerin to it as well just to speed up the fermentation process. So Partida tequila is done exquisitely. It's fermented with the time it takes in regards to the weather. So I'm going to bring my sister Sophia on. And is she ready to come on? Oh, come on. And we got our ice and everything. So again, we have a huge family. This is one of 7 sisters. So this is Sophia. As I said before, she's the expert, so I'm going to let her do all of the talking. And she's created these drinks here just for you guys this evening, along with this super low sugar sweetener. Sophie, I'll go ahead and let you start.
Hi everyone, and Merry Christmas. I'm putting these cocktails together with Liliana's special sweetener, and I have to admit that I've always been really suspicious of any kind of sweeteners that are either natural or artificial, because it's very challenging to find one that actually works well on a cocktail. So when she told me about this, of course I raised my eyebrows, but I've been playing with it for part of the day today. It actually really works well, so thank you. Low carb sweetener.
Yay!
Who would have thunk, right? So I'm thinking Christmas, I'm thinking colorful, I'm thinking holidays. So the cocktails that I will be doing today will reflect, one's going to be very red, one's going to be white, and then we're going to do kind of an aperitif later for like a later in the evening type of cocktail. So the first one is, I call a Christmas colada. It's a take on a piña colada, and let's get right into it.
Yes, we're excited. We want to try those drinks out.
Right.
What's really cool about tequila also, and so you guys might have read some of this information, that it's actually good for your digestive system because it has agave, which is a type of a sugar, but it's a prebiotic for the gut. It's the inulin that is in the agave, and that's actually what they actually utilize in the fermentation process. So, Sophie, I'll go ahead and let you go there.
All right, so the first one is our Christmas colada. The ingredients are coconut milk, pineapple juice, sweetener, and lime juice. Very, very simple, very basic cocktail. Great fast with the coconut milk. Don't buy light or reduced fat coconut milk, because you want a full coconut milk. So just in the can, very basic. We like to use organic around our home. So we're going to start out with 1 ounce of organic coconut milk, 1 ounce of pineapple juice, and I'm just using basic Dole. I can't really find one that I like better than Dole. I think maybe it reminds me of my childhood. I don't know. So
at least there's no sugar added. So
that's right. 3/4 ounce of the sweetener. Okay. 1/2 ounce of lime juice, fresh squeezed lime juice. I prepped that a little earlier.
You gotta have the fresh squeeze, so don't go out and buy that funky lime juice that you can get in the grocery store.
Okay, and of course the tequila. So we're gonna be doing this with the Blanco tequila. So I'll be using each expression with a different cocktail. So we want to keep the integrity of the white cocktail here, so I'm using our Blanco tequila for this. I like 2 ounces in my cocktail. Some people like a little less. I like the tequila to show through. A lot of people say, well, you're making a drink with it. Why don't you just use a more inferior product? But your cocktail is only as good as the spirit that you use to make it. A beautiful premium spirit like Partida will show through and make your cocktails taste amazing. So we have everything in the shaker. I filled the shaker with ice. We're gonna go ahead and give it a shake. I like to put one foot in front of the other when I shake, kind of balance myself, put it over my shoulder.
It's all about the shake. And the music in the background.
All right. Because it's coconut milk, you're gonna get a little bit of solids. I'm gonna try and strain them out as much as I can, but you're gonna pick up a little bit of solids in this cocktail. That's just part of what it is.
So it keeps it more organic texture to it, which is awesome.
So I like to use fresh ice for my cocktails, and I leave the ice behind in the cocktail shaker. So we're going to strain this. There's a few solids left behind. That's what it's supposed to be.
Looks good. I mean, who doesn't like a pina colada? This is my mother's favorite drink in the whole world, was a pina colada. Every time we'd go out to have a meal, it was pina colada. So this is for our mother.
So this is a lot of fun. I just took a pineapple leaf, the top of the pineapple, and used it as a garnish. So it looks festive and fun. So this is lovely. You want to give it a try?
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Look at that. That is just gorgeous.
I'm going to rinse this out while you're enjoying.
Oh my gosh, you cannot get any better than this. It's just perfect. It's very delicately balanced with the sugars, the coconut. Oh, you're absolutely going to love this one. I'm going to set this here.
Do you have any idea in terms of calories what that?
Well,
I didn't really.
So it's probably, okay, now the tequila itself is about 4 carbohydrates per ounce. And so what would you say about an ounce of that would be? How many ounces are in there?
There's 2.
Okay, so there's going to be 8 carbohydrates for that, and let's give about another 8 at the maximum carbohydrates with the juice and so forth. So about a 16 carb drink, which is awesome because you're looking at half of what you would normally get in a margarita that could be anywhere up to 45 to 50 grams of sugars in a drink. So again, this is what I tell patients. If you're going to utilize this, any kind of an alcohol, let that be your main sugar. So again, our meal is going to consist of a beautiful salad, very low carbohydrates, just a couple of lettuce leaves, which really aren't going to amount to many carbohydrates at all. In fact, I would consider them negligible. And then it's going to have the ceviche, which is the protein on it as well. We're going to use those afterwards too, you guys. So you guys can come up and have a drink of those. Okay.
Okay, number 2 cocktail is going to be a pomegranate basil margarita. You could call it a pomegranate basil martini. We're going to be serving it up in a martini glass because the color is really beautiful. We really want to show it off. I'll be using the reposado for this cocktail. Partida reposados aged for 6 months in a Jack Daniel's barrel. So that barrel, the wood tones are really going to come through in this cocktail very lovely. So we're going to start out again with our ice-filled shaker on that side. And then for this cocktail, we go 1 ounce of palm juice. One ounce of lime juice. It's got a margarita feeling, this cocktail. 1 ounce of sweetener. And because the palm juice is just a little tart, you want to balance it out with just a tiny bit more sweetener. So we're going to go for a full ounce here. We're going to do 2 ounces of Partida reposado.
So Sophie, what's the difference between the Blanco and the reposado?
Blanco is the way tequila comes out of the distillation process. So it's really the base of all the other tequilas. So this is Blanco barreled for 6 months. The Añejo is our Blanco barreled for 18 months. So really it's all about aging.
So really this is the purest form because it's the first distillation. and probably is going to be the lowest in carbohydrates. Because when you have the tequila sit in the barrels, it's going to become a little bit sweeter, and it's going to pick up the tannins as well. So they say that, I don't know if it's a myth or not, it really hasn't been substantiated, that tequila is a great drink for weight loss. Because of the inulin, and it actually makes you not hungry. So of course we wouldn't want a diet of tequila drinks, but to have one, they say, before lunch,
unless you're
and after dinner, one is going to stimulate your appetite so that you can eat and enjoy, and the other one is going to sedate you so you can go to sleep beautifully. So moderation is always the key.
I put one basil leaf in this cocktail, and I don't really muddle it because basil can be very overpowering. I like subtleness in my cocktails, so there'll be an undertone of basil if you just give it a nice slap, release the oil, and you just drop it in. So you'll be shaking, the oils will release, and you're gonna get undertones of basil. However, if you love the taste of basil, I recommend muddling it before the ice goes in. Then you're gonna get a real heavy basil tone, if that's what you like.
Nice.
So we're gonna shake this baby up.
Pretty. Got a nice festive color to it.
Okay. And strain.
Wow, that is gorgeous.
Ready?
Yeah.
And garnish. I found these gigantic basil leaves today, so.
Look at that. That is absolutely beautiful. Can I try it?
Yes.
Okay. I mean,
I'm gonna rinse.
Look at this. This is just beautiful. I mean, how elegant is this, girls? Okay. And really, honestly, you know, I always tell my patients, or even my daughter, I mean, after really 1 to 2 drinks, there's really nothing more to get out of the drink, right? So just enjoy it with 2. We don't need to overdo ourselves. Can't get any happier of more than 2. So let's have a taste.
Okay, I don't need a shaker for the next one.
I love it. You can just pick up the basil just ever so slightly. You got a little bit of the bitterness of the lime and the sweetness. Wow, you gotta have a taste of that. That's so good. That's exciting. We got our new drinks for our holiday party.
Very good.
Isn't that awesome? Woo!
First we went gluten-free, now we're gonna go sugar-free complete with our
cocktails.
cocktails.
It's awesome. I'm gonna bring this.
I never thought the day would come. All right, so the next cocktail we're gonna do is a Partida spicy old fashioned. I'm not gonna be using a shaker for this because this is just simply a cocktail that is stirred. This again would be nice at the end of the evening. I'll make these for our family parties at the end of the evening, pitcher style. And it's always a big hit. So we're gonna start out with, if you have any kind of a small glass pitcher, that works, or just a glass, just like a big pint glass would work too. If you wanna get fancy, you can go prettier, or you can just do it in a basic glass. So what we do here is we're going to do just a little bit of muddling, not much. We're gonna be using 2 ounces of Partida Añejo. This is a very spirit-forward cocktail, remember that. So the volume in this cocktail is going to be much, much less because it's basically just tequila with a few little undertones of some fun things going on.
Give me a glass. I want to do a little swirl so she can demonstrate.
All right, so we're going to do I'm using habanero because I'm brave. The recipe calls for a Fresno chili. You can use any kind of chili you like. Just remember 1 small round, especially if it's habanero, because we all know how spicy that can be. So
that's a little teeny piece that's going to have a lot of bang for its buck, huh?
1 dash of bitters.
Oh.
So you got to be careful with this stuff because again, if you put more than 1 or 2, it's gonna taste too bitter. So 1 dash. And then we're gonna do 2 bar spoons. If you don't have a bar spoon, you can use a teaspoon of sweetener. You can use maple syrup if you weren't gonna go low carb, or agave nectar for this too. But that's for another show.
Okay. Yes, we have plenty of tequila and plenty of ideas, so we'll throw them out there every once in a while.
That's right. We're gonna be doing the skin of an orange. This is a really important part of the cocktail. So you try not to get too much of the white pith in there. You want to try to avoid that if at all possible. You just want to, Well, drop it in is fine too. So a little,
you want to use
just
that
a
one?
baby little bit of muddling here because again, this.
Do normally you twist it so?
Yeah, so but I'll do that at the end.
Okay.
So just a little bit of muddling.
I can smell it already.
I'm not going to go crazy because that habanero I can already smell it's going off. So again, this is a stirred cocktail, so we want to just add some ice. Stir.
So this is baby style because usually in our family we've got these great big pictures. So, you know, for the show, baby style.
You want to kind of let it sit for a second because the ice is going to really open up this cocktail. Let it sit for a second. And I chose a smaller glass. Typically we would use a rocks glass for this, but Lily's rocks glasses are really big, so it makes the drink look really small. So I prefer to use a smaller glass to give the illusion of a bigger cocktail. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and just pour this right in. I'm going to strain a few things out. Here's what I'm going to go with fresh ice on this. Yeah, I wouldn't care so much, but the habanero is definitely
knock your socks off.
It might be a little too intense, I think, for this cocktail. So we're going to just do this.
I'm scared of this one.
Oh, this is going to be wonderful.
Quite the imagination on that.
Again, it's a definitely spirit forward. Only one of these is probably, as Lily was talking about, is all you're going to need.
So it's really nice because you get the orange essence on here, which is really great.
So Liliana mentioned you just want to give it a little twist and a squeeze. And what that's doing is releasing the oils from the orange into the cocktail. And then just drop it in.
Beautiful.
Yes. Let's see how spicy this one got. Oh yeah.
Perfect?
Mm-hmm, it's
Oh
perfect.
man.
Yeah.
Wow, that is amazing. This is definitely an aperitif after dinner drink. It's like a cognac.
Definitely.
Fantastic.
Yes. So
wow.
if you have parties like we have parties, you know, I try not to get stuck being bartender. I'm the bartender in my family. So what I like to do is if it's a small gathering, I like to do pitcher style. If it's a bigger gathering, I like to do dispenser style. So I want you to think that one bottle of tequila is about 15 cocktails. So if you wanted to do this either pitcher style or dispenser style, you know, consider that when you're looking at these recipes. You want to times it by 15. And if I were you, I would do the mix separately from the alcohol. And if you're having a party, have the mix ready to go. And when your guests arrive, get those pitchers out or those dispensers out. Go half mix, half tequila. It makes life so much easier. So thank you all for having me, Liliana. That was a lot of fun.
So much fun. I wanted to ask you one question.
Sure.
How would you tell our audience to distinguish between 100% agave and not? So I was thinking maybe you could do a little demonstration with that Blanco.
Sure.
Just in a glass in regards
Yes.
of the... Want to go ahead and do that? Just do the
Yeah.
legs and give them a little
Well,
shake.
you know, mixto, we call tequilas that are not 100% mixto tequilas because pretty much half of the liquid inside those bottles are sugarcane spirit. The other half is agave spirit. So when you're shopping for tequila, you always want to make sure it says 100% agave on the label, which means you're guaranteed that all the liquid in the bottle is agave. So half and half is typically the lower end tequilas that you can buy for sometimes under $20. I always tell people try to shop, you know, over the $30 price range. Typically are you're going to be guaranteed more that they're going to be 100. But look at the label. That's really the best way to know what you're getting. And you know, when you're buying a bottle of tequila, you want to look to see what you're buying. You want to turn the bottle upside down and make sure you've got healthy bubbles, and also that there's no cork damage. At Partida, we actually went into an acrylic cork about a year and a half ago because of that issue. We were getting some cork damage. All tequila has it. So turn the bottle upside down. Make sure what you're buying is a good quality product. Nice bubbles, no cork damage. So I think Liliana's asking me to do a tasting.
Well, yeah, just because, you know, a lot of times, you know, when you're looking for tequila and they try to, you go to the bar and you say, I'd like to have, you know, 100% tequila, and they bring it to you. Well, how will you know if it's really 100%? So you can give it a little swirl.
Yeah.
You can see the legs down there.
Yeah, so I mean, again, the way you're guaranteed that it's 100% is by looking at the bottle and making sure that it says that it's 100%. Partida, we're not using any kind of chemicals or additives in the production of our tequila, and those things you can feel in your mouth and you can taste. So I'm going to pour a little bit just to show you what we are looking for when we're trying a really beautiful premium tequila. We're looking for color and texture. So visually, it's got to look beautiful. In the case of a Blanco, not only clear but crystalline, so it's going to reflect light back at you. So a little prettier than water. Of course, clear. Blanco is clear because it never goes into a barrel. It's how tequila starts. All tequila is clear when it starts. So to look at texture, you want to swirl. You want to swirl the tequila in your glass, and you want to look for, in wine, they're referred to as legs. In tequila, it's referred to as tears. So you want to see the small tears that form inside the glass. The tears separate, and then they fall down very slowly. So we say in Mexico, if your tequila is not crying, it's not worth drinking. And what we're talking about is texture. You want that beautiful texture. Aroma is so very important. Tequila has a story to tell. Where is it from? Highlands, lowlands. How is the agave cooked? Is it smoky? Was it cooked in a stainless steel oven? Is it very clean like Partida? Or is it got quite a smokiness to it, more like a mezcal? Those tequilas probably the agave has been cooked in some type of a porous oven that is very charred on the inside. If you're open to understanding tequila and really spending time with it to understand it, it will definitely reveal itself to you. The characters are definitely going to come out. So on the nose, you just want to inhale very slowly, and you want to hold the aroma at the back of your throat for just about 3 or 4 seconds, and try to understand what it is that you're smelling. Try to picture what it is. So in the case of Partida, this is a very agave forward tequila. What does agave smell and taste like? Very similar to a cooked yam. So think those, hearty, big flavors of a cooked yam. All that is going on. And what is agave? It's a succulent. So think of those undertones happening too. That very bright, succulent smell like a broken aloe vera leaf. All of that's going on. So when you are tasting tequila, of course you don't want to shoot it. You want to take your time with it. In fact, the first sip won't even tell you anything. So I always tell people, never judge tequila on the first sip. All that is going to do is open up your palate and get you ready. So I encourage people, when they do take that first sip, to only do a couple, maybe 3 or 4 drops on their tongue and let it evaporate without even swallowing it. The second sip, you're going to notice, wow, that tastes a lot different because your palate's ready for it now. So you want to take a small sip through your mouth, draw a small breath through your nose, let the sip start from the tip of your tongue, roll it back to the center, down the sides, swallow, and then exhale at the very end. So I refer to this as tequila yoga, so people can kind of relate a little bit. You're inhaling as the tequila goes into your mouth, a little bit through your nose, swallowing, and then exhaling at the end, so you can experience that really nice long finish at the very end. So nice and slow. Second sip's going to taste a lot different. It has a story to tell you. You just have to be open to understanding it, to hearing it, to using your senses to understand what the tequila master, the house, is trying to tell you. So Partida is a tequila from the lowlands of Mexico. In that, we were representing our area quite well. Big tequilas, very hearty, very full-bodied tequilas come from this particular area. Our distillery's right in the town of Tequila, so lots of history there, and making wonderful, wonderful products. So thank you all again.
So what's really nice is this is going to be the lowest carbohydrate drink of them all because there's nothing in it. So just a little bit of ice, maybe just a little twist of orange or a little bit of lemon, and it's great just to sip and have just an evening nightcap. It's really, really nice. So what I'd like, and Jill, we got three drinks. Why don't you come on up here? Let's have a holiday cheer. Which one do you want? You got this gorgeous one.
She wants the red
She
one.
wants this one, of course.
How do you know what I want?
I'll take that. I'll take the heavy duty.
So I just want to say thank you for joining us today. We had a wonderful time, and thank you, Sophie, for coming and sharing the history of tequila and these fabulous drinks. And Merry Christmas to you all, and I hope you guys enjoy the wonderful ceviche salad that we made here. You can just put it right on top. You can use the lettuce leaves as if they were your chips instead, or you can just pile it right on there, and you'll have a perfect meal, low carb and a fabulous drink. Cheers. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Cheers.
Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year.
Mmm.